Hi guys, welcome to Average Rants. This is going to be kind of a short video because it's really more of a quick update video that I'm going to be doing today. Um, Mainly because a lot has actually happened that is particularly newsworthy. Although there is one thing I do want to talk about, just to give you guys some sort of news, because it concerns something that I consider too fucking ridiculous to even it's such a ridiculous concept in my mind. Like there's no way somebody was crazy enough to do this, right? But apparently it was true, and so I want to talk about it. Uh, but first, a quick update. After this video I'm doing right now, I'm gonna go on a bit of a hiatus. I just came into some money, and I've been using it to sort of get some improvements to my bedroom, and also I got myself a laptop, so I'm hoping to actually do the videos from there. And until then, I don't really want to do any more on my phone for a few reasons. Number one is honestly, it doesn't have a lot of space. I keep having to delete videos, and if there's ever a time where I don't where YouTube fucks up or starts deleting my shit, basically, there's no fucking way in hell I'm ever going to be able to re-upload. And for me, especially, that's a kind of a horrific concept because a lot of my videos are in the now. It's like the Charlie Kirk one was sort of in the now, the Democrats one was in the now. Something like the Lunar Dragon Age one, I could just make another one if I really wanted to. Because honestly, my rage at that game knows no fucking bounds. So it would be very easy to get back into that horrific, rage-inducing mindset. But, yeah, no, check that video out if you really want me at my most genuine. Because, let me tell you, I don't hold back when it comes to that game. It genuinely ruined my fucking childhood. But anyway, I wanted to talk about... Also, another thing on the update is, I'm going to be getting this fucking thing shaved off. So, and this cut. So, hopefully, because I'm a little sick of having to... Because what I do before these videos, I always sort of, perk myself up. I wash my face. I... make sure this doesn't look too terrible. This, I brushed it, but obviously, you can kind of see it's not as, nice. You got shit sticking up. And that's really the problem with my hair, is I have curly-ass hair. Typically, that's my natural. So when I try to straighten it out, it just does not happen. So, yeah. Hopefully I can get this cut looking a little bit nicer before the next one. And, all that nice stuff. But onto actually two subjects, because there's actually something I wish to discuss. The second thing I'm going to have to look up, and not because I don't know what it's about, it's more like I forget the name of the person I'm going to be talking about. It is a historical figure, but it is actually horrifying what I ended up finding out. And yeah, it's kind of crazy, but that's sort of the thing with this video. So it's two crazy ass things, one that happened recently and one that I just found out from history. So it's kind of nuts. But basically, the thing that I thought was too fucking out there for me to believe at first, right? It was so weird. It's like there's no way this is a crazy ass thing that actually happened. Even with everything that's going on with the the protests and the riots and all that shit, there's no way anybody would be crazy enough to do this, in my thought. But apparently it happened. It legitimately fucking happened. It's not just a rumor. It's not just something that got told out of hand. No, this was a thing a person actually did. And it sickens me to my fucking core. So, I'm going to look it up, too. just so I don't, fuck up anything. This is not my laptop, by the way. This is actually my mother's, mama, my mother's mom's. I refuse to say the one with the Y, for obvious reasons. Let's see. That's not it. Hold on. It might be Google is trying to... There it is. You ready for this shit? A teacher from the Corvette... Hold on. Fucking thing. The Corvette Junior Public School in Toronto. Could we get some more information on what Toronto? So I know there's a few of them. Canada. Okay. So Canada, this happened in Canada, not the US. But here's the thing. Here's what happened. This dude literally showed his class. It was a French class. It was these students just like, this dude was not a political teacher. He was a French teacher, right? He wasn't supposed to be showing any of this to his students, but basically what this motherfucker did was he interrupted his own class, to show his students, his 10 to 11 year old class full of students, the shooting of Charlie Kirk. And he didn't just do it once. He did it fucking 10 times. 10 fucking times. This is the reason why I thought this was just a hoax or something, but it's not. It's like the school district itself has put this man on leave. It's a legitimate thing that fucking happened. This is a month ago, and the only reason I dismissed it was because there wasn't a lot of news at the time. But now there is. This is something that was a month ago, but there's stuff as recent as like a week ago, right? This motherfucker, this psychotic fuck, plays this video repeatedly 10 fucking times and he makes sure every student fucking looks at it, and then he gives a fucking thing about anti-fascism and how Charlie Kirk deserved to die. Can I be completely honest here? How the fuck do these people get hired? How in the first background check, when you hire these people to be teachers, how the fuck do you not at any point think, this guy's kind of like, because, the thing is, a background check is not just, your criminal history. It's your online history. It's your online footprint. It's your previous jobs, why you were fired from them. So it's like, I'm looking at this, I'm just like, how the fuck did this person not get found out immediately and not hired at this fucking district? And keep in mind, Canada, fucking the UK, and all, they're all under liberal fucking governments. Right? So, But even fucking still, it's like, how the fuck do you not know this person is a psychopath? This is absolutely horrifying. I can guarantee you, if a United States teacher did this shit, and I heard nothing about that happening, thank God. But a teacher from the United States did this shit, all the fathers would be fucking hanging him from a fucking tree. The, you okay? Sorry, my cat just had a fit for some reason. But anyway, yeah, no, those fathers would be hanging him from a fucking tree or beating the fuck out of him for doing it. Like, it wouldn't even matter if you're liberal or Republican or whatever. Nobody should endorse this. But here's what happened, is they put him on leave September 12th. Right? September 12th. Charlie Kirk's death was on September 10th. This was the day of that this incident occurred. It was literally September, I think, 10th or September 11th. How do you not just fire this person? They put him on leave. They didn't fire him. They put him on leave. How do you not just fire this fucking person? And here's the crazy part. He wasn't even the regular teacher. He was a substitute. I didn't know that shit. But and it's just like, you get this shit. It's like, what, like, you fucking, I don't even know what to say. This person was not fired. He was put on leave and is now not present at the school. Cool. How the fuck do you not just fire him? They don't even give out his name because they know what's gonna fucking happen. Is you're gonna get a lot of pissed off people trying to fucking beat the fuck out of him. How deranged and demented do you have to be to show somebody getting shot in the neck 10 fucking times? Well, I guess just as demented as you have to be to make fun of it. Like many, many people did and got their asses fired for it. This shouldn't be a firing, in my opinion. This should be jail time. Okay, this is traumatizing children. This is showing them death at a very young age. This is like a legitimate death. It's not something you see in a video game or whatever, right? No, this is somebody dying on live TV. Recorded by a student, being played on repeat by a demented jackass of a teacher. And we're supposed to be like, let me put it to you this way. You're supposed to be Democrats, right? Liberals. You're supposed to endorse this behavior. That's what towing the party line means, is endorsing some psychotic fuck showing kids someone getting shot in the neck 10 times in a fucking row. Is that what that fucking means, to toe the party line? Because I'll tell you this right now. I'd rather fucking switch sides if that's going to be the fucking case. There's no way I would ever stand shoulder to shoulder with this fucking jackass. He deserves jail time, in my opinion. Like, doing this shit should be jailable. It should be a jailable offense. Okay, it's fucking ridiculous. And I tell everybody, I'm gonna tell everybody right now. Every Democrat needs to know about this, right? I'm pointing at the laptop, by the way. Every Democrat needs to know about this because they need to understand that if they continue on with the Democrat Party and what it's becoming, it means standing shoulder to shoulder with people like this, people who repeat a death 10 times in a row to a classroom full of children 10 to 11 years old. That's what that means. You standing shoulder to shoulder with this fucking guy. You really want to stand next to this fucking guy, this fucking psychopath? If you do, honestly, go fucking crash your car into a fucking live fire. Because you'll be doing the world a better favor than existing, quite frankly. I know that seems harsh. I know, like, when I did the Charlie Kirk video, I said, hey, you know, we all got to understand each other. I don't want to understand someone like this. I don't. I don't want to fucking forgive someone like this, because this is honestly fucked up. Like, nothing less than demented and mentally ill is what this person is. And not even the mentally ill where you can, like, fucking kind of sympathize, but the mentally ill that's like Hannibal Lecter levels of fucking mentally ill. Like what justified this in this guy's mind? You know what justified it is because he knew he had a classroom full of children. He knew they are impressionable. He knew he could get them to fear what happens if you speak out against status quo. That's the reason he did it. To instill fear in these children's hearts about what happens should they even break a toe out of fucking line. Even step like the moment they toe outside that party line, his goal is basically to tell them, hey, this is gonna fucking happen to you if you dare question anything. Fuck this person to the greatest depths of hell. I take back what I fucking said in the Charlie Kirk video. I don't want to understand people like this. I don't want to forgive people like this. I don't want to fucking exist on the same fucking planet as people like this. People like this need to fucking hang themselves, because they'll be doing the whole world a fucking favor by depriving it of their existence. You don't just do this to fucking children. It's immoral, it's horrible, and quite frankly, I hope this guy gets the fucking chair if he gets arrested. Yeah, I don't want to understand people like this. I'm sorry. I was a fool in the Charlie Kirk video when I tried to be understanding. I can't. I'm trying to, as more fucked up shit happens, as more shit gets uncovered, like how corrupt the Democrat Party truly fucking is, I like, in my mind, I'm just like, I don't want to forgive these people for this. I don't. I wish I could. I wish I could be that forgiving. I can't be. I'm an atheist. You know, I don't fear death, really. I fear the darkness of it, the void of it, the emptiness, the nothingness, you know? But I don't fear death itself. Okay, anyway, time for the next subject before I get too fucking, you know, really Confederate. Thanks, Google. For fuck's sake. Thank you. Let's see. Let's go ahead and... Yeah, what was it? Yeah? Hold on. I want to talk about a historical figure here for a sec. And the reason I'm doing so is to basically tell people that the Democratic Party is not who you think it is. And the reason it's not who you think it is quite frankly, they have a dark-ass history. They really honestly do. So I want to actually point out one thing. So I'm going to do a couple fun facts here, right? Here's a couple fun facts for you. Did you know that the majority of slave owners in the South were members of the Democratic Party? In fact, here's the thing. There were actually two kinds of Democratic parties. There was the Southern Democrats and the Northern Democrats. The Southern Democrats were the slave owners. They were the majority of the slave owners, right? However, the Northern Democrats weren't exactly what you're probably thinking, right? Like they were completely against slavery. No, they basically allowed slavery if the states themselves decided on it. Now, I am reading from a Google Doc right now. I'll be completely upfront with that. But I did, before this, like I said, this is one of the reasons why I wanted to do the 3 to 4 day thing, is because I wanted to make sure I got everything correctly and not just read over a Google Doc. I read, excerpts from history books from schools and all that shit. I got my own old ass history book. That was a blast from the past. Just to, just to check shit. So everything I'm saying right now is 100% correct, as far as I can tell. And guess who Abraham Lincoln, by the way, what party Abraham Lincoln actually was? It was not the Democratic Party. Lincoln was not a Democrat. He was a Republican. You know what else? The Republicans of the time actually fought, their platform was anti-slavery. Yeah. So Republicans were actually the people fighting against slavery in the Civil War. So the Republican Party at the time was formed expressly because slavery was a thing. They fought against slavery, the Republican Party did. However, Democrats were the ones who owned slaves. The reason they owned slaves is because of a law in the Constitution that obviously after the Civil War was struck, it was voted against, and it got rid of that particular law. But basically, it said that any American could own slaves. That's the basic gist of it. After the Civil War, the Republicans and surprisingly the Democrats would vote to strike this from the Constitution. However, in the mid-1950s, I believe it was, the Civil Rights Act would come about and basically say all black people can vote and all that shit. By this point, the Democratic Party had fully embraced the cause of civil rights, despite most of their members, even at this time, being descendants of slave owners. And the Republican Party focused more on the economy and, that kind of shit. So believe it or not, I think I have him up here as well. Jefferson F. Davis, who was the Confederate President of the United States, was actually a Democrat. And he's a Southern one who disagreed with what is like the Republicans in the party. The reason why we at some point were split apart is because of this man. A Democrat split the United States in twain so that the Democratic Party could continue to own slaves. Again, I do my research here a lot. I go on Wikipedia, I go on, different historical sites. I, I have my old school book, like I said. I do a lot of research. I don't do. I will. Okay, well, God, this doesn't make it seem like I don't. But I do a lot of research. I don't do enough where I can be 100% certain of fucking anything, right? In fact, I don't like being 100% certain of anything, because if I am, then I just look like a bigger idiot when I'm proven wrong, right? And I have no problem with that. But, it's not a good feeling, being wrong. It's something you have to accept as an adult, but it's not a good feeling. But, again, this is all public record. This is in my history book as well that I mentioned. How the fuck do most modern Democrats not bring this up? I was watching a video the other day of someone who had gotten on the same journey as me, actually. This is actually what led me to the whole getting out my old school book, too. Because I was just looking up Wikipedia articles on this. I was like, I was not really 100% certain. And I watched a video of a black American who went on the same rabbit hole I fucking did. And he was basically saying a lot of the shit that I ended up researching and finding, like, oh shit, that's actually correct. The Confederate flag was made by a Democrat. The Confederate United States of America was founded to continue slavery and was founded by a Democrat. Democrats fought for slave owners to continue owning their slaves. The only reason why they fight for civil rights now is because to them, that is the more important issue. Okay, they lost that issue. That was what made it so that the Republicans could have a president in office for a few presidential terms. Sorry about that. But yeah, he, quite frankly, was a slave owner, and he was a member of the Democratic Party. Most people, from what I can tell, most schools do not teach this anymore. Because the only reason why they don't teach it anymore is because it sheds a dark-ass chapter on the Democratic Party. It sheds just how fucked up and hypocritical they truly fucking are. Most of them. There are, of course, a few Democrats who actually do care very much about civil rights and will fight for it, sometimes to the death. And I respect those people. But most of these Democrats do not give a fuck about civil rights. They really don't, and again, you just have to look at history to show why that is. These people legitimately used to defend slave owners. They used to own slaves. Why the fuck do you think they gave that up after it was made abundantly clear that nobody wanted that shit? They gave it up because it was no longer getting them voters. It was no longer cool to own slaves, essentially. So they took on the thing of civil rights. The Republicans chose to do the economy because the original purpose of their party was to end slavery, which happened. So they ended slavery. The Republicans decided to actually focus on the economy, and the Democrats took up the torch of civil rights. And that's what got us into this shit today. This is the reason why we have so many problems in America nowadays with the illegal immigrants and the people because there's so much misinformation about the law, about ICE, about And I say Trump because some of the yeah. I mean, he's not a Nazi. I'm not ever gonna call Donald Trump a fucking Nazi. But it's it's crazy. It's crazy to me that a lot of these people don't know this. And there are literally people. If I went into that crowd, I want you to imagine this. If I went into that crowd and I just gave a history book to each one of these people detailing how fucked up the history of the Democratic Party is, I'd probably end up being pelted by those books. That's how fucking fanatical these people are. Okay? The problem is so then I was like thinking to myself, what's the problem then? If they do know this, it's because they really do know this and they don't care. They don't teach it for a reason because they know how dangerous that information fucking is. So, because what's the alternative? Like, how do not people growing up as a Democrat or a Republican, like, how do these people not understand this shit? You know? It's like the only reason why the Democrats have so much power nowadays that they did back in the Civil War is because they chose to take up the torch of civil rights. But actually, they didn't even choose. They were forced to when they started to realize that owning slaves wasn't cool anymore. So what happens? The Republican Party passes on the torch, takes up a new one, emphasizing the economy, the military, and all that shit. You know, it's really fucking suspicious to me as well. Like, quite frankly, it's suspicious to me as well that the trans thing came up so fucking quickly, and yet Democrats were so ready to just be on their fucking side. It was crazy to me, and now I know why. It's because, like, if it was found out that the trans thing was actually a psyop or something to get people to start creating more problems so the Democrats could actually have a platform again, it wouldn't really surprise me, because you can think about it like this. They take up the torch of civil rights. Things are pretty fucking good for black people for several years. Yet in like 2012 or some shit like that, suddenly there's a whole new problem called the trans people. People accepted gay relationships. People accepted lesbian relationships. People accepted black people as equals by this point. And then suddenly there's this new faction? That doesn't make no fucking sense. Where the fuck were they for the last, like, 50 to 60 years? You know? Again, at this point, it is, like, conjecture, right? At this point. I've gone off the script, essentially the script, because I don't use one. But I'm no longer talking about this. This is conjecture at this point. But again, if it was turned out that the whole trans thing was a psyop, it would not fucking surprise me. Because I find it really fucking weird. I find it really fucking weird how you have a bunch of these people just come out of fucking nowhere, right? And then suddenly the Democrats are absolutely on board immediately. There's no stragglers. There's no the discontent voices saying what the fuck is this shit. They're just on that shit immediately, like, oh, trans people deserve rights. You know, they deserve the same equality. Blah 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 blah. It makes no fucking sense in my opinion. There should have been at least a few Democrats who were like, what the fuck is this shit? But as far as I can tell, no. Every one of them supposedly were on board with this shit. It makes no fucking sense. And look at me, I thought this was going to be a quick video. Look how long it is already. But anyway, I think that's going to be it for right now. I will probably do a video on Monday in a couple days. Should I actually go out and get this fucking beaver shaved. But yeah, that's gonna be it for right now, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you if you liked it, like, comment, and subscribe. But until then, have a good day, have a good night. Bye bye.